How's it going, everyone? Today, I have the pleasure of having on the channel one of my students, Huy Nguyen, who has been inside the program, and I wanted to share his story because I think you're going to find a lot of inspiration out of it. So without further ado, man, how are you doing today?
I am good, Paul. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's always great to have students on. We were talking for a little bit. You kind of
Yep.
reached out to me. So I said, instead of talking further on chat, let's just get on a video and kind of talk things out here because I'm really eager to hear your story and how you're doing. So why don't you just kind of introduce people to who you are, a little bit about your backstory and what led you here to start doing eBay dropshipping?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Huy. I currently live in Minnesota, engaged to my beautiful fiance, Marissa. I currently work a full-time job as a mechanical designer, so in the engineering field. And honestly, I've never thought of getting myself into the entrepreneur world. And it all started with my brother-in-law, who actually took a course in drop shipping. And, he told me about it. So it sounded interesting at the time. And me being, having a curious mind, I asked him a lot of questions. And, I found it interesting. And I guess that's where it all started back in February of 2018.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
what was the type of drop shipping that he was doing?
So basically, it's almost the same concept that you teach, except the way that he was taught was to use a program to optimize his title and do a lot of competitor research, basically going through a bunch of keywords, finding if other people are selling the same item that are being listed onto the first or second page. If he does find that there are sellers that are posting the same item on the first or second page of the keyword that he's using, then he'll go and scrap that keyword. But then he'll basically use the software to build his title. Whereas your method, you're just picking up random keywords from the description of the item, or the details of the item, and listing that item using that title that you just built without doing any competition research, basically. So it is a slower method that I find, but the margin is a lot higher because you know that you're not competing with anybody else. So
Gotcha.
that was the method that he was taught, and that was the method that he taught me. And that was the method that I used for a while until basically October was when I switched over to your method. And I'll go into the reasons why I did that. But yeah, that was the beginning of my journey, basically.
Awesome. So when was
Yeah.
that? When did you get started?
February 6th of 2018.
Oh, so you remember the exact day?
What's that?
You remember the exact day?
Yes, sir.
Why do you remember that day so well?
So I like to tell people that are drop shippers the story, because the first sale that I had was the worst experience that any seller could want to avoid, actually. So the first item that I ever sold, I don't sell this item anymore, but it was a Nerf gun, right? It was a battery powered Nerf gun. And I literally learned how to fulfill an order, do customer service, do a return, and remove a negative feedback for my first feedback ever, because the item arrived damaged, and it was a gift to somebody's granddaughter. And so the person left me a really bad negative feedback. And I literally learned how to do all that within my first sale. So I told myself, you know what, if I can get through this it's going to be great. So I stuck through it, and that's where I'm at now. So
Yeah, definitely. That was like the perfect learning example for you to get started with.
exactly, all within within just 1 week of that first sale. So yeah, it was a
So,
great
so
experience.
what happened after you started? What happened throughout the summer and then going into the
So
fall?
my sales were somewhat consistent, but it wasn't anything that you know, I have somewhat of a high expectation. So my sales were anywhere from like 5 to 7K, and I was just wasn't happy with the growth that I've seen, right? And for me, I like to see high growth. I'm very dedicated, and for some reason that method just wasn't working for me. So that's why I guess in the beginning of April was when I took a huge gamble, and I fully switched my listing method to your method, and based on all your live Q&A and your free what is it, your free teaching that you provide on your channel. Yeah, I just find that for some reason, switching to your method was working a lot better for me. So,
Awesome. So how have your sales been since then?
so my sales since I switched over to your method in October, which was a huge gamble before the fourth quarter, it doubled.
Wow.
My sales have doubled. I think it was more towards me listing a lot faster using your method than my previous method, where it would literally take me a full day to list like 10 items because I'm doing so much more as far as your product research, title building, and then your competition research, right? Whereas your method, you're doing your product research, but you're listing, but then you're not doing any competition research. But then it all falls down or go towards pricing. So towards the end of the summer, I learned how to price my items better. I was able to get or tax exempt, so I was able to compete, and I found the resource or the supply that I like to use, and that I was getting better at basically. So
Awesome. So you kind of just found a system that worked for you and then just said, okay, I'm going to do this over and over and over again.
pretty much, yeah. It,
Yeah.
it took a while, but I got there. So being persistent and consistent helps quite a bit.
Awesome. So besides
Yeah.
that, we were talking before, and you had mentioned
Yep.
that there eventually came a time where you felt ready to open up a second store. Is
Yes.
that right?
Yes.
Would you mind talking about that
Yeah.
experience?
Of course. So the reason for opening a second store was to help fund pay for my VA basically. So I hired a VA full time listing. I think towards the beginning of November. So I figured, you know what, she's listing full time, so that takes a pretty good chunk out of my time to list, and I can pretty much run my main store, fulfilling orders and doing customer service. Well, why not open a second store and help me pay basically for my VA? So I did that. I think November 22nd was when I opened my second store.
Mhm.
And within 1 month, I was able to hit over, I think, 10K in sales. And there's nothing special what I did. So I basically called eBay and said, hey, I have an account that's been open since 2013 as a buyer's account. Can I turn this into a seller's account? And they're like, sure, why not? Right? So I got everything set up, my tax and everything, same policy as my main account. And what I did is I said, hey, let's make this as simple as possible. Let's just take everything from my main account that's not selling for the past 60 days and just throw that into my second account. Let's just see what happens. next thing you know, 3 days later, I made my first sale, and it just grew. So I was quite happy. The amount of work that I put into the second store doesn't justify it for the number of sales that I had. So
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like
yeah,
you got a good system down there. And
yeah.
what has it been like to now manage two stores? Do you find that difficult, or what's that
Um,
experience?
it was difficult doing the fourth quarter, trying to keep up with the amount of sales, fulfilling orders, because right now I only have one VA that does listing, right? So I still have to do the customer service, the fulfilling orders. I mean, I'm fulfilling 50 plus orders a day between the two accounts, and it does get annoying. I know that you said you hate fulfilling orders, and I'm getting to the point where I'm the same way. But so that leads me towards my goal for 2019 is to have my main account be fully automated so that I can focus on my second account. So the second account, as far as listing goes, it's very easy because I'm just taking items from my second or my main store that doesn't sell and just throwing it on there. So the hardest part is keeping up with the customer service for both stores. So you almost have to find, or you have to be able to have your main account set up to where you feel comfortable enough to start a second store. I wouldn't advise starting a second store, when you first start off, right? So you have to know your system, you have to know kind of what you're doing, you have to be comfortable. And yeah, at that point, then yeah, you can venture out and figure out if you want to start a second store or not. So
Awesome.
that's what.
Well, congratulations on your success. That's really awesome. Really happy for you.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear your plans to maybe hire. Are you going to look at hiring more help, or have
Yeah.
this person come on more for more
Yeah.
full time?
Yep. So like I said earlier, my main goal for 2019 is to hire a full team of VAs, customer service, fulfilling orders. I mean, the VA that I have currently, she's very good. She does product research. She does listing. She has a background in customer service from, all sorts of different e-commerce business. So she has a lot to offer. And if I wanted to, I could have her run my whole entire store. But right now, I'm still learning, right? I'm at the point where I don't have enough trust in her to run my main store. But once I get to that level, then I might do it. But yeah, my main goal for 2019 would be to have a full team.
And what's your schedule like now? Because you're still working, you're
Yeah,
running
I'm
two
working
stores.
9 to 5 like normal people, but I hustle, right? This business consumes a lot of your time, and I'm lucky enough to have a fiance that that knows, that understands the business. And my goal, my end goal is to be able to quit my full-time job and to do this full time. That's what I look forward to every single day. And that
What?
pushes me forward to doing this.
So that's your why. That's the reason you do this.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? We're getting married, and it doesn't hurt to have an extra revenue, right? So
Definitely, definitely.
yeah,
So well, congratulations on that too.
thank you,
That's
thank
probably the bigger congratulations.
you.
What does she think about it? And what does like your family think, your friends think? Did you not tell them for a while about it?
Actually, the funny thing is, I recently got my brother involved, and he started listing. I think towards the end of October, and actually he hit. I think he was close to 20K in sales within his first month. When I taught my brother, I told him, you have a special treatment here as far as being taught everything that I went through and showing him basically the ropes. And yeah, he did quite well within his first month. So
Cool. Is he your little brother or older
no,
brother?
he's my older brother.
Okay.
But he's a big fan of yours too, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
I'll tell him I say hey.
yeah.
So I don't know how much you feel comfortable sharing, because I know people are going to be asking, like what supplier you use, what suppliers you like, just any like details and the nitty gritty. As much as you feel comfortable sharing, I won't ask specifics. You can just share what you want about those things, numbers, profit margins, things like that. People love to hear that stuff.
Yep. So the two main suppliers that I use currently is Walmart and Home Depot. I started with Amazon, and I just the products that I was listing for some reason from Amazon just didn't click for me. So I started switching over to Walmart, and I find that Walmart was working quite well. And then I found a better system with Home Depot, and Home Depot has been good to me as far as customer service, their return policy. So right now, my main two sources that I use would be Walmart and Home Depot. And profit margin wise, it varies, but I'm looking at 11% would be my profit margin. Yeah, it's a lot of back end stuff, and I know that taking your course recently, I learned that pricing is huge when it comes to what we're doing, right? It's all low margin up front, but then you got to have all your back end margin from cash back and credit cards and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the tools that I use are all standard tools that we were taught, like DSM for repricing, Zik Analytics for product research, and TrackerBot. TrackerBot is lovely. I love TrackerBot. It cuts down a lot of time. And I recently started using AccountABot, which is owned by TrackerBot, also for bookkeeping. It's an awesome software. It's very friendly. And I also use TaxJar for my taxes, and then Spot and Paste for all my order fulfillment.
Awesome. So like the full gambit. So TaxJar is for sales tax, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
So besides the team for 2019, any other goals, any income goals? When are you getting married? Is that this year?
So our date's pushed out to June 2020. So I have quite a bit of time to save up a lot of money to have that wedding. But other than having a full team for my store, I would like to switch over to other revenues. So like Amazon, drop shipping on Amazon, or FBA. I know that you're coming out with a course for drop shipping onto Amazon, so that would be a great deal for me to learn. So that would be one of my top goals for 2019 is to learn how to drop ship onto Amazon.
Yeah, you're going to be really surprised at once you get the system down, how many people buy on Amazon. You're going to be pretty blown away. It's pretty incredible. So I was kind of wondering how so far this business on eBay has changed your life so far.
It's been a huge learning curve for me. I was always stuck on the mindset of working a 9-to-5 job, until I retired basically, and never thought myself as being an entrepreneur. And this business really changes your whole entire mindset, right? Not only do you have to work hard, this business doesn't require you to be smart. You don't have to be super smart to be in this business, but you have to put in the time, right? You have to put in a lot of time. I know I grew up in a very hardworking family, so that falls through into how I grew up, right? But this business, I mean, if you treat it as a full-time job, you're going to get paid as a full-time job. That's just the bottom line of it. And I know that, I speak for a lot of people that are in the same situations as I am. When you first start, I mean, you have to put in a lot of hours to grow. That's just the bottom line. So it taught me to be patient because I've had days and weeks where I ask myself this question: is it really working? I mean, I've had days where I've had no sales, and I go, 1 or 2 weeks having like 1 or 2 sales, and I ask myself the same questions over and over: is it really working? And watching like you and other people on YouTube that are so successful, and you're like, if these guys can do it, why can't I do it? Right? So I just stuck with it. If something's not working for you, change it up. Be creative. I think this business model, you have to learn how to be resourceful and just can't give up. You really cannot give up. So grind, hustle until it pays off. So that's my only thing that I learned from this business.
Did you learn that? So was there anything in your life that prepared you for this, or is it just kind of you jumped and figured it out on the way?
Yep, I absolutely didn't know anything about drop shipping. I just went all in, literally went all in. Because, I mean, for this, I wasn't a risk taker, but knowing that this business doesn't require a lot of revenue, and it's very low risk, right? I mean, you really don't have anything to lose other than the time that you put in each day. So once I knew that, and basically going through it within like the first month, and getting sales, that propelled my basically switched my whole entire personality, basically, and just different gear.
Yeah, definitely. What do you do for work at the 9 to 5?
So I'm a mechanical designer in the engineering field.
Okay, what does that mean?
So we develop products for my field. I work as a mechanical designer for the agriculture industry. So basically designing control panels for like John Deere, but basically farming equipment is what I design.
Cool. So that didn't prepare you at all for this.
No, not at all.
But you maybe will be able to drop ship some of those products potentially.
Exactly.
And what about your family? Any entrepreneurs in your family or anything?
Well, I mean, my family, we're very traditional. I mean, everybody has their college degree, going on their 9 to 5 job as normal. Except my brother, the one that I got into drop shipping. He was curious, but not curious enough to venture on his own until basically me telling him how the business works and what I can make drop shipping. So I mean, I owe this all to my brother-in-law. I mean, without him, I wouldn't really know anything about drop shipping. So
big shout out to him.
Yeah.
For starting you down this path. Yeah, it's funny. Just like one moment like that or one person can really change your life pretty quickly.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. That is so true.
Well, I'm so glad you shared this story. This is an incredible story, and
Yeah.
hearing that, you struggled too. I think people think that it's going to be easy the whole way, but you've really hit home that it's not. Is there anything you want to say before we close it out, or anything you want to share that we didn't talk about yet?
I guess the only thing I would say is for new sellers that are coming in, I mean, just stay consistent. You're gonna have days where you're not gonna have any sales, or even weeks, and not have any sales. But you just can't give up. I mean, you just gotta list more, be creative, resourceful. That's all you really have to do is just put in the time, and then everything will just fall through, right? It'll just come together. You'll start making money, and then you start to trust in your business model, because everybody has a different business model that they create for themselves, basically. We all have the same principle, but then we all venture out and build our own business. And you almost have to do that to survive this industry, right? So that's the only takeaway, or my advice is stay consistent, stay positive, and just hustle.
Those are great words to end on. Well, thank you so much for your time. If people wanted to ask you questions or reach out to you? Are you cool with that? Can I leave
Yeah,
your email below?
yep, I can give you my email at the end,
Perfect.
and you can contact me anytime.
Awesome. And if you guys are interested in that training, I think the training that you were talking about that you took, I have that free one. I'll link that up below as well. So if people want to check that out. But thank you so much. I really loved hearing your story. And maybe later in 2019, we can have you back on and you
Yeah,
can tell us how well you're doing.
yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.